Hold on.
Oh.
He's there.
I lost the picture.
Okay.
You're still up there. This picture is still.
Captain Hodgson, how are you tonight, sir?
Good, how you doing, John?
Very well, sir. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
I think we're just waiting for Commissioner Krieger, and I see him, but
John, I'm sorry. John, I lost the picture. I can't see anyone, and I don't know if you can see me.
I can see you. Can you see me now?
Nope.
Hold on a second, sir. I have you on, Joe.
Okay. I'm not seeing myself or anyone else, but I'm here.
That's probably not a bad thing, Joe.
See if I can figure something out here.
I'm showing that you're in. Cliff, can you hear me? Joe, you look different without your uniform, my friend.
No.
I think we got
Commissioner
Krieger. Are you there? Cliff?
I'm here.
All right.
Very good.
We're waiting for Attorney LaGrassa, and then we'll start the meeting. All right. Joe, I'm liking that mustache, brother.
Wow, but I shaved, you know. But my hair's
no haircut yet, though.
No haircut, longer than ever.
We're going back to the 60s. We're going back to the 70s with you.
1969.
Adam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Ryan, I think we're ready to begin.
Okay,
At this moment, I'd like to welcome everyone to the lower right. And Secretary Wynn was the meeting post.
yes. So the first matter would be to do with the accept. All set? So the first matter would, the first matter would be the acceptance of the meeting minutes for July 30th, 2020. That's the regular meeting minutes. If the commission has any motion on that?
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Howe. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then there is the executive session minutes for the July 30th, 2020 meeting. I hope you all had a chance to review.
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, Commissioner, next Secretary Wynn.
So the first matter is the public hearing on the application by Boomy Liquors, Inc., doing business as Pacific Liquors. Ela Pagat is the manager of record. The all alcoholic beverages package store licensee at 421 Central Street. This is a request for change of officers, directors, and transfer of corporate stock. The legal counsel for the applicant is Peter Nicosia. He's attorney in Nicosia Associates in Tingsboro. And because of the transfer of stock, it is required that the legal notice be published in the local newspaper, in which it had been done on July 31st. It does not require abutters to be notified.
Attorney Nakosha, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Nguyen. Nice to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. Nothing exciting here. Boomy Liquors operates Pacific Liquors at 421 Central Street. Business is going to continue as usual. No changes in the business operations or, the establishment. It's really just a swap out of some folks from an extended interfamily transfer. So, in summary, Vimal Kumar, who is currently the president and director, and Danen J. Patel, who is secretary and director, are coming out of the existing operations and selling their stock. Ela Bhagat, who is Vimal's wife, is staying on as treasurer, director, and manager of the license, but she is selling 50% of her stock to some family members that are coming in. So coming in is Deepa Dawala Patel, who's going to be the president and director and a stockholder, and Suni Kumar Patel will be a secretary and director and a stockholder as well. So when the reshuffling of the stock deck is over, Ela will be 25%, Deepa will be 40%, and Suni will be 35%. I know the ABCC likes to see the actual filing of the change of the officers online at the Division of Corporations, which we will certainly do first thing in the morning, assuming the board was inclined to approve the change in officers and stockholders, so that Ryan can include that in his package when he sends it down to the ABCC. Obviously, the people coming in are familiar with the establishment. They understand licenses are a privilege, not a right. They're familiar with the rules and regulations of alcohol service. And before they step foot into the establishment, I'll ensure that they deposit tip certifications with your office so that you have them there. But other than that, I think it's pretty straight and narrow and unexciting, unfortunately.
Thank you, Attorney Nakosha. Secretary Nguyen, are all the paperwork in order?
Yes, as far as the purchase and sale agreement, that's satisfactory, and then the basis for the financial transaction is supported with bank documents. And as Attorney Nicosia just noted, we get the copy of the change of office and directors filed with the Secretary of State Corporations Division. Then I think the application should be satisfactory to the ABC as well.
Thank you very much. I'd like to open up the floor to any commissioners who have any questions for Attorney Nakosha at this time.
Move
Nope.
approval.
I have a motion by Commissioner Howe to approve. It was seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Attorney Nakosha, appreciate your time tonight, sir. Thank you for your diligence.
Thank you. Everybody be well.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Ryan.
Proceeding with number 2 on our meeting agenda, we have a public hearing on the application by the licensee known as Shiv Chris Corporation, doing business as Powers Liquor. Jay Patel is the president. It's the all alcoholic beverages package store licensee for premises at 23 Wood Street for alteration of premises and additional retail and storage space from 4,400 square feet to 7,600 square feet. Legal counsel for the applicant is Matthew Porter from Southeastern Massachusetts. There was publication of a legal notice on Friday, August 7th, and Monday, August 10th, 2020, in the Lowell Sun newspaper. And in this matter, the applicant is required to notify the abutters. I forwarded to the commission a copy of the list of abutters that Attorney Porter had provided to me. And I also have record of the green return receipts that were sent to me by FedEx. I received this afternoon. And Attorney Porter, I believe, is with us now.
Attorney
Yes.
Porter, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Board. Matthew Porter, I'm the attorney for Shiv Chris Corporation. Along with me tonight on the call is Jay Patel. Mr. Patel is the president of Shiv Chris, which does business as Powers Liquors at 23 Wood Street. Here, this is an expansion of their existing space. I'm sure you're all familiar with the shopping center there. The Rite Aid, which is located next to Powers Liquors, is moving out, and we were given the opportunity to expand our space. So we'll be moving in there, grabbing another 3,200 square feet. So the plan is included in the package. The landlord has already signed off and approved on the work. So certainly, if there's any questions regarding the work itself, Mr. Patel can answer that. I can answer any questions as well.
Thank you, Attorney Porter. Secretary Nguyen, paperwork in order.
Yes, it is satisfactory. Okay.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for Attorney Porter at this time?
This is the Lucky Store, isn't it? That sold a few $1 million tickets.
Joe, how would you know that, Joe?
I read it in the paper. There you go.
That's good.
Move approval.
Second,
Move approved by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor?
No.
Nope.
It was
I apologize.
Donahue, I thought.
Oh, I apologize.
okay.
Commissioner Donahue.
I too,
I
but
apologize. Joe, just so you know, you're starting to sound like Cliff, so I'm not sure if that's good.
That's not a good thing, I guess.
All right. Motion was made by Commissioner Donahue, is seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Attorney Porter, thank you very much for your time.
Yep. Have a good night. Thank you.
You as
Thank
well,
you.
sir.
Proceeding with number 3 on our meeting agenda. We have a hearing for the all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee to determine the status for the renewal of a license for calendar year 2020. The first licensee would be LD Holdings LLC, doing business as Bar 74 Lounge and Grill, 76-78 Merrimack Street. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I just want the commission to be aware that the notification was sent to LD Holdings at that business address at 7678 Merrimack Street. In addition, it was emailed to the principal of LD Holdings, Lauren DeSalvo, at her known email address, which is East Hill Partners. And also I had her state of New York address, which I used as the official mailing address for the notice of this particular matter to do with the commission's review, as well as the other matter to do with LD Holdings in the next coming hearing. So that particular letter to New York State to the address of Lauren DeSalvo had been returned to the License Commission Office, Law Office, and the forwarding address for her New York State address was in California, which is Porto Ranch, California. But unfortunately, that expiration of the forwarding of mail had come and gone, and so that's why the letter was returned to the License Commission Law Office. So that's the short of that.
Attorney LaGrassa, anything to add to this?
No, I would just say that, since we now know that there's a new address for Ms. DeSalvo and efforts have not yet been made to contact her at that address, it may be pertinent to resend the notice to this new address that we have for her in the event that she does wish to be heard on the issue. But ultimately, any action on the item is for the discretion of the board.
Commissioners, anything to add?
Mr. Chairman? Go ahead, Cliff.
Go ahead.
All right. I think we need to expend all reasonable efforts to contact her with regard to items 3 and 4. So sending another letter out to California seems okay to me. We kick this down the road.
Commissioner Donahue, anything else to add?
Well, at this point, isn't the onus on the owner or of the license to step forward to renew their license in a timely fashion? And why, I mean, we've taken reasonable. I'm just wondering if we really need to keep going.
I'm sorry, I'm a little late. I was trying to get my connection done for this Zoom call. I could not get it done. Sorry, a bit late.
Mr. Patel, your item agenda has already been taken care of, sir.
Oh,
And congratulations.
You're all,
thank you very much. Sorry about the late. Thank you.
no
Thank you,
problem.
Ryan. Thank you.
All right. What you need is a bigger room, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Robert.
I'll get to you 1 second, Martha. Adam, Joe brings up a good point. Mr. Salvo is, I guess I asked Ryan, the manager of record, Ryan, who was that on that license?
Well, it was Abigail Murphy who actually resigned. And Lauren DeSalvo did file the renewal in the month of November of 2019. I did receive that. I trust I forwarded a copy of that document to you, the commission, I should say. The problem is that from that point on, there's been no contact from her with me or with any other city hall official in regards to like handing her certificate of inspection. From what when I last checked with the Office of Developmental Services, they had no record of applying for the certificate of inspection. Every year, every license holder has to apply for the certificate, and they have to pay the fee, and then the inspectors from building and from fire will do their due diligence to make sure it's satisfactory before they sign off on the certificate of inspection. So none of that action has actually been initiated by the owner, Lauren DeSalvo. And now Abigail Murphy, as we learned sometime in 2019, that she had resigned as manager of record. But there was no application, or if there was an there was an application pending in which the proposed new manager essentially took herself out of the running.
Yep, I get it.
I think there was some.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Howe?
I think with this licensee, out of an abundance of caution, I agree with Adam. She did file for the renewal of the license. We haven't heard from her, but we have knowledge of a forwarding address, and I think it behooves us to send her notice. We're probably not going to hear from her, and put this item on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we have to do our due diligence and make sure we cover ourselves. Ryan, if you could do that to send it to the California address, that'd be great.
I shall. And if perchance, just as a hypothetical, I had thought about this earlier. If that address in Porter Ranch becomes not viable and that the communications letter gets returned to the law office with another possible forwarding address, would the commission want me to initiate the mailing to that possible hypothetical new address?
Attorney LaGressa? Adam?
Well, I mean, I think it's up to the commission what steps are taken to attempt to continue to contact Ms. DeSalvo. If the commission reaches a point of satisfaction with the efforts that have been made and the fact that really no efforts have been made on the part of the licensee to further the application by satisfying all the various requirements, then the commission would certainly be within its authority to take action to deny the renewal application at that point. But whether that step is reached is a decision for the commission.
Understood. Any other commissioners, anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, who owns that building? Do we know? She doesn't own that building, does she?
No, she does not. She doesn't. She's a lessee.
Do you know who owns the building, Ryan?
I would have to check her file to see who the property owner is, but off the top of my head, I don't have that
All right, thank you.
information.
That might not be a bad idea, Ryan, as well. Maybe find out who the landlord is. And I think one last ditch effort to contact her in California. And I think we've done our due diligence at that point. Any other further comments from the commission?
No.
All right, Ryan, are we good with that?
Sure. So you would, in terms of the property owner, did you want me to send a copy of the notice to the property owner as well?
Yeah, I'd just like to
Like-
know if Mr. Salvo has contacted the property owner at this point, and or she just, have they come to any certain agreement of past rent owed to that person? Something in the idea of what just happened with Attorney Zame and Dudley's, you know, that type of thing.
Exactly, that's right.
So I'll communicate with the landlord once I've determined the address and all.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, and I just don't want this to ever come back to us, that's all.
All right, fair enough. A motion, or is that just as it is?
No, I think we should have a motion just to make sure we're doing everything
Don't
by
move.
by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much, Commissioners.
And that would be the same for number 4 as well.
Yeah, I think that's the same. I think that's the same idea we want to take. I just
Yeah,
want to make sure that
so
Commissioner.
just for the record, I would just, for the point of the record, number 4 item on the agenda is a hearing for the alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee to determine the status for renewal of the license for the calendar year 2020. LD Holdings LLC, doing business as Revolution at 74 Merrimack Street, and that would be the 3rd floor premises. And so
We incorporated that in the last motion.
that's correct. Thank you.
All right.
Proceeding with number 5, we have the hearing for the all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee to determine the status for renewal of the license for the calendar year 2020. LCRC Inc., doing business as Dudley's, 19 Merrimack Street. As the commission is now aware, Attorney Zane was representing LCRC Inc., doing business as Dudley's, and confirmed a communication that the License Commission Office had received from the property owner's attorney, as much to say that the agreement had been reached between the tenant, Dudley's, and the property owner to come to a conclusion on their lease and terminate that lease, and that was confirmed by Attorney Zane last week.
All right, thank you. Attorney LaGrassa, do we have any loose ends here, or are we okay?
My understanding is that the status was that the application for renewal was withdrawn by Attorney Zane. Ryan, is that correct?
Yes, he basically, even though they filed a renewal, as I noted with the LD Holdings business, essentially they're not following through on that, so they're content to just withdraw, not pursue any further action with that.
So I think if the application is withdrawn, then there's no action required by the board.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Krieger.
I recall in the ancient past, there was some contention between various owners of the establishment. There's no activity on the part of any of them still hanging out there that could come to the surface. Is this is done?
Attorney LaGrassa.
My understanding from my communications with Ryan is that the tenant has vacated the premises and the landlord has assumed control of the property.
Correct. So with regards to the corporation itself, LCRC, yes, Mr. Murphy, Matt Murphy, who is the principal in that corporation, had business relationship with a fellow by the name of Matthew McCarthy and another gentleman by the name of Jason Downs. And if some members of this commission may recall, there was an issue with regards to Mr. McCarthy, which in turn he had to resign as the manager of record because of some issues relating to his personal activity. he was arrested by our local police for an incident outside of the licensed establishment. And he resigned as manager of record. And I believe there were some issues with regards to Jason Downs, who was also a principal in the corporation, and in which he was represented by legal counsel when at the time the commission was dealing with Mr. McCarthy's matter and his subsequent resignation. Attorney Zane was directly involved with the proceedings on that matter, representing Mr. Murphy, and I believe, and also Mr. McCarthy. He wrote, there was a letter communication. My sense is that the financial transaction or issues that may have been contentious with Mr. Downs at that time, I have no record to say I believe everything's resolved in that regard, or some terms have been reached on that.
All right,
But
I think we've closed the book on this one, and I think we've done our due diligence. Unless any other commissioners have any other comments, I think we can put this one to bed.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that Attorney Zane came in and spoke to us about this at one time, that this was
Yes.
resolved and that there was only one owner at Dudley's.
Yes, I agree. I would, motion by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Howe, place it on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, Brian.
Proceeding with a personal item I have just for the commission's consideration, don't have to take any action right now, but regarding the review of our fee for publication of legal notices. Right now it's set at $175. And legal notices primarily have to do with the alcohol beverage licensing, because state law requires, in the case of the two examples we have this evening earlier, Boomy Liquors, there was a legal notice, the publication of which was $180 with the Lowell Sun, and then the legal notices that were published for Powers Liquors, both two publications, each was $185. However, by regulation, our fee for that publication that an applicant is to file with our application is $175. That money is directly deposited with the city treasurer's office, who in turn records it with the city auditor, and the auditor's office maintains, in simple layman's terms, an escrow account for the holding of the money, which in turn is what is used when the bills are due to pay the Lowell Sun. And more often than not, we have more than enough money to cover the bill from the Sun, and the legals generally don't reach as much as $175. But in the recent examples we have, I'm finding that it's exceeded $175. My concern is that we have a balance. Well, I'm not sure an accountant would say it as such, but in a balance of $350. And I'm afraid that if we continue to let our legals be published and they reach like $185 or whatever the Lowell Sun determined is their fair cost for publication, we're not going to have enough in the end. So, and there's no recourse for us to get the money from the city. It's up to the applicant to pay the fee. And it's not like for me to just say to a licensed applicant, oh, you're going to have to pay $190 for this ad, because I don't know what that'll be until after the publication. But I just want to make that point.
Well,
Are you making up the difference, Ryan?
I don't think that's a problem, because I know Commissioner McCarthy said he pitched in, so.
No problem at all.
Okay. So Ryan, if it is 185, if we are in the red here, the city does not pony up the extra money.
No, it will not. No, it's not going to be covered by the city. I could look to the applicant and say, you'll need to pay us the additional $10, but I have no means of doing that. I don't have. It's not like me just going up to my brother and saying, you owe me $10 for what I just bought you. You know, that type of thing. It's not like I can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's so.
Mr. Chairman,
Money is.
why do we issue any licenses or anything until the fees are all paid?
Sorry?
Why do we
I
issue?
think that might be our only recourse.
approval?
Russell, do you have any?
So my understanding
All
from
right, let's only have one. All right, let's only have one. Go ahead, Adam.
So my understanding from talking to Ryan is
Go
basically
ahead, Adam.
that the cost of these publications are starting to exceed the fee that is currently required under our rules and regulations. And I think the recommendation is that the commission consider raising the amount of that fee in order to offset the increased costs in order to ensure that moving forward, there's adequate funds to pay for the legal publications. Since
Yeah.
it's starting to trend about $10-15 higher than what our fee is at.
Yep.
So my recommendation would be if the commission were inclined.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry?
No, I agree. I agree with where you're going with this. I think we have to just ask the licensee for all fees being paid. That's all. Commissioners, any?
So if you wanted to,
So, Adam, what was your recommendation to go up to 200?
Well, yeah, that's what one thing that you could do is the commission could consider raising that fee. I think in order to do so, it would require amending the fee schedule of the rules and regulations, and would likely require a public hearing. So what you could do is schedule on an upcoming agenda a public hearing to consider the possibility of raising the fees in order to cover these costs, and after that public hearing, have a vote on how the commission would like to proceed.
Okay.
Commissioner Donahue?
I move that we schedule a public hearing to increase the fees to consider the market and how we're covering the cost.
Have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion on the matter? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Ryan, set a public hearing up in 2 weeks. All right?
fair enough. Do you want to, is it necessary that I publish this particular item in a local newspaper, or is it just to notify the license holders like I normally do with the agenda?
Yeah, I think that will suffice. I think that will suffice. Just a license holder.
Okay, very good. All right, so our next item is for the board to consider voting if they wish to go into an executive session regarding the matter of litigation, namely Blue Shamrock Inc. versus Lowell License Commission, a public discussion of which could have a detrimental effect on the city's position. Well, is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Howe. Roll call.
Chairman Dakota,
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Howe,
Yes.
Commissioner Donahue.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
5
just
yeas.
give me 10 seconds. I just want to make sure that there are no other participants on this Zoom call, okay?
And Mr. Chairman, if I just, before you do that, just want to let it be known to the commission, will
Yep.
they wish to adjourn in the executive session, the meeting?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes. Ryan,